Meregali pulls on Leandro Lo. It goes right into De La Riva, straight collar, and I guess a heel grip. Now, this is the classic game of De La Riva. The passer is going to be stuffing the foot. The guard player is going to be reacting to that, so either trying to prevent the foot being stuffed or reacting when the foot does get stuffed, which is what you see here. So let's go back a little and figure out exactly what's going on. So watch how Leandro Lo is monitoring the legs. Reason why that's smart is because he knows as soon as he steps to HQ, that leg's going to start to get active. And it's going to look to either go to the hip or to a half lasso. Now you can see he prevents it at first, but as soon as he takes his hand off that leg, it eventually goes to the hip. And then he upgrades it to the half lasso in a second. This is just that level of technicality that just gets you going. Again, a classic scenario. We've all been here. So let's see what happens next. It's so interesting to see all these little games being played, all these small details playing out. So now look at Leandro Lo's left hand, how he's on top of the knee. He's trying to make sure that Meregali can't suck his knees to his chest and keep a really tight guard. Another thing that happens here is Meregali finally throws his leg over to that half lasso. Now this is a very typical response. A lot of people are going to do this when we stuff their leg into headquarters. But Leandro Lo's been there 1,000 times, and look at how he takes advantage of that half lasso and uses it to pass Meregali's guard for a second. So there's two things that made this pass work. Number one's anticipation. You got to know that that half lasso is coming so that you can time it well. As you push that leg by, you clear the knee line and you kind of settle into a pass. The second thing to notice is look at how Meregali's knee is pointed straight to the ceiling. This is a small but really important detail. Look how Lo shifts his hips before coming over that knee and kind of shucking it through. Lo uses his left hand, that grip on the pants, to kind of tip the hips before shucking that leg by. The reason is because, look, imagine if Leandro Lo tried to shuck that leg by the same way right here. He would almost be pushing Meregali's foot into his face. But you can see, again, look at his left grip. He tips the hips, and that changes the angle. So when he shucks the leg by, it goes right past his hip. And he's able to pass the amazing guard of Meregali, even if it was just momentarily. Now, I believe one thing that would have prevented this pass from happening is because Meregali has a grip on Leandro Lo's leg. He doesn't have a sleeve grip on the with his left hand. And I believe that if he did have a sleeve grip with his left hand, Leandro Lo wouldn't have been able to pummel that hand over the knee line of Meregali to shuck it by. You see that? So one thing we got to be aware of when we're playing De La Riva with that typical heel and collar grips is that if we pummel in our shallow lasso, it's vulnerable to being thrown by. How can we stop this? In my opinion, if Nicholas Meregali were to switch his grip from the heel to the hand, so the grip that he has with his left hand, if he were to release Leandro Lo's heel and grab the sleeve, then Leandro Lo's hand would have no play in it, and he wouldn't be able to swim it to the outside of Meregali's knee and shuck it by like he does right here. Look at Meregali's left hand after Lo pushes the knee through. That grip just becomes useless, and then he has to switch it to a frame. Now, to be fair, this takes a great deal of anticipation, and in a way, almost like seeing into the future a little bit, because how would you know he's going to do that pass? You really don't. So what would make you switch to the sleeve? In this case, what I'm saying is, I guess, safety. So if you want to play it safe with your guard, you want to cover all the bases. As soon as you flip that shallow lasso in, you should know, okay, my opponent can shuck my leg by at any time right now, especially if they have a pant grip on your other leg. So just that awareness of where you're vulnerable would make switching to the sleeve grip a pretty good idea. It's important to know that when you switch to the sleeve, you're not really sacrificing quality attack options. You're actually giving yourself another very solid option, especially if you're Meregali. So imagine from here, he switches to the sleeve. So that would put him in a position where on the right side, he he'd have a straight collar grip and his right leg would be on the hip. On his left side, he'd have a sleeve grip plus that shallow lasso. This actually puts him in the perfect position to hit his classic Meregali sweep right there. And he actually goes for it once, almost gets it, but Leandro Lo builds right back up. So if we're playing De La Riva and our opponent stuffs our leg into headquarters, of course, a really great option is to look for that shallow lasso, like you see Meregali does here. So he throws in the shallow lasso. So now we know that we're vulnerable to this pass that you're about to see in 1 second. We know that we're vulnerable. And that's because as soon as we switch to a shallow lasso, our heel grip is basically doing nothing. Again, notice Meregali's left hand. So a better option for us is after pummeling in that shallow lasso to switch to a sleeve grip on the same side. That'll give us our Meregali sweep. On top of that, it also will prevent this throw by from happening because we have control of that hand and it won't be able to pummel on top of our knee and throw our legs by. Now, if you stay to the end, you're a real nerd. Let's finish off the sequence. So, Leandro Lo's going to look to step to mount. Meregali's going to do a perfect escape where as soon as he steps and transfers the weight, he picks off the leg on the other side, goes into a 3/4 mount, and then looks to upgrade his position and eventually reguards. This is one of the best escapes ever. This is one of the absolute best ways to prevent being mounted, to kind of let them go, and as soon as they do, pick off their leg on the other side, and then start to upgrade your position from the 3/4 mount. I like to go personally to deep half, but just what he did works too. Another thing that was perfect here was that Meregali kept the floor space. He owned it. He owned the floor. And that's one thing I do not see people talking about when they're talking about mount escapes. It's all this, kip that. Guys, we have to own the floor. And it seems like eventually one of these days I'm just going to have to show it myself. But yeah, this floor space is such an important idea, and I do not see it talked about enough. Give you guys a little extra there for staying to the end and supporting the video. I think I'm going to do one more breakdown from this match on Meregali's De La Riva X, which he went to about 4 or 5 times during this match. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So I think I'm going to work on a video on that. But until then, see you guys next time.